raise your hand function if you have a question. And please keep your microphone on mute when you're not asking a question. With that said, we'll get started with the first two questions will be Darren and Catherine.
Hey, Michael. Darren Irvin from easycardinals.com. I know you mentioned the other day that at one point AQ Shipley had come to talk to you guys and everything. And I'm just wondering, big picture there, there's some parallels to draw between you and AQ in terms of draft status and position and everything. What does his path tell you about what your path could possibly be?
So I met AQ in 2017. He came out to our practice when we were at the Fiesta Bowl. He kind of told us a story, told us kind of what all he went through to kind of get there in his career. And I think it just goes to show you that it really doesn't matter where you're drafted. It just matters what you bring to a team and what you bring to an organization and what you're willing to do every day to kind of improve. And that's just my main focus. Show up every day with the mentality of trying to get better.
Hey, Michael, Catherine Fitzgerald from the Arizona Republic. Good to see you. How much have you talked to the team about what they're expecting for you in your first year, like getting in the mix right away, where you'll be lining up, stuff like that?
Yeah, we haven't honestly talked much about that. We've talked about versatility and the fact that I'm going to have to be able to play center and guard. I'm just going to show up, like I said, trying to get better every day and kind of whatever my role is on the team, I'm just going to look to attack that at 110%.
Okay, we'll go back to Darren and Catherine.
I'm curious, you had mentioned, playing a little guard. What is your background? Have you been basically the center the whole time? Would guard be something that would be difficult to learn in the short term, or what is your background in terms of playing the positions on the line?
Yeah, so when I first showed up to Penn State, I was playing guard for probably about the first year and a half. Then I switched to center during spring ball after my second season there. I have plenty of experience at guard and center. I feel very comfortable at both.
Michael, when we first talked to you after the draft, you mentioned Rodney Hudson and just looking up to him. What are some specific things about his game that you really admire?
I think he does a ton of good things very, very well. I think first and foremost, he just carries himself really well as a player and as a leader. And I think at the center position, that's something that's very pivotal. Just being able to have that, it's almost like a quiet authority throughout the team. You kind of looked at as just a guy that puts everybody on the same page. And, if things go wrong, ultimately it comes back to you as far as O-line goes. I think he does a ton of really good things.
Okay, we'll go to Darren, Tyler, and Catherine.
What were your expectations going into the draft? Like, did you end up getting picked about where you thought, or were you thinking you might go higher? What was your mindset about, or where were you expecting actually? Where would you end up?
Yeah, from what me and my agent talked about, it was going to be somewhere in a range of kind of 5 to 7, and that's where I went in the 7th. So, it was about what I was expecting. Just grateful to be drafted.
Hey man, Tyler Drake with 98.7 FM Arizona Sports Station. I was just curious if you have had any chances to talk with any of your teammates yet, and if so, how's that going?
Haven't had a ton of interaction yet. I've been added to the O-line group chat, so got to meet those guys. Very, very quick intros, but besides that, nothing yet.
There's some pretty strong personalities on this O-line, and I'm sure that shows up in the group chat. What's that been like so far?
It's all been very lighthearted so far. Guys sending me some snack orders and stuff like that that I'll get when I get out to Arizona. So it's just all very fun, lighthearted.
Jim and Catherine.
Hey, Michael, just take us through what it's like being drafted and then the days after. What do you kind of get on the computer and Google up everything, everything about the Cardinals, maybe who's in the O-line room, learn their history, learn about the area? What was it like for you?
When I first got drafted, obviously draft day is very stressful. I think anybody would say that to you. But obviously it was a huge accomplishment for me and my family, and just an awesome moment for us to share. And then afterwards, spoke briefly with a couple people on the staff. And then from there, yeah, it was kind of getting a little bit of background on the place. I have an uncle. Well, he's not technically an uncle. He's my brother's godfather, so we just call him Uncle Joe. He lives out there. So we've been out there a little bit before, like I said, for the Fiesta Bowl as well. So I have kind of an understanding of what it's like there. I think one of the biggest adjustments for me is going to be the heat. Everybody says it's a dry heat, but honestly, I don't really know what that means. So yeah, I think that'll be a big adjustment. But yeah, I go through and start Googling places to eat, to live, all that kind of stuff.
I know you had mentioned kind of right after the draft that you were still getting to know this offense a bit, which totally understandable. I was wondering if you've learned a bit more about it, and when it is going really fast, I know that can be an adjustment for the offensive lineman. I was wondering how you think you'll fit in that way.
Yeah, I mean, we've used tempo at times at Penn State earlier in my career, a little bit here and there. And honestly, I love it. I think there's something about offensive and defensive linemen where offensive linemen they're used to going for long periods of time and not getting subbed out. So I think it can really benefit an offensive line, just the offense as a whole. I think defenses tend to tire out later in the fourth quarter when you're going fast. But I think it's also where a lot of explosive plays come from. Just maybe a guy's a little bit tired here and needs a half step slower or something like that. So I'm really excited for it. Like I said, I have a little bit of background to it, but I don't think it'll be that big of an adjustment for me.
All right, that looks like that's it. So we'll go ahead and wrap it up. I want to thank you again, Michael, for taking some time with us today, and thank you for everybody who joined us.
Thanks, Michael.
Thanks, Michael.
Thank you.
Thank you.